Hey guys, all you Georgia high school football officials, this is not the normal voice that you get to hear for the GHSA weekly training video, and this is why we're a little bit late in getting it out this week. Clifton has been sick and under the weather, not feeling well at all, so I volunteered to help him this week. So I am going to give my best effort to put this together for him. He sent me the plays that he wanted us to discuss, and I have them. I can assure you it will not be as good as Clifton does it. I'll probably talk a little bit longer, but anyway, just bear with me, and we'll walk through it. We'll learn through some stuff. I always enjoy these, and so your good friend Greg from up here in Blue Ridge is doing the weekly training video this week. So I want to start out with looking at something that we looked at last week. So Clifton mentioned last week in the weekly training video, this is not the play that he shared, but he mentioned that the referee, and a couple of you mentioned this to me in an email, that the referee should be at a maximum of 12 yards. And that's the minimum. The minimum is 12 yards. The maximum is 14. This is the same game that he talked about. And I just want to point out a couple things to you referees just so that we are all on the same page. Consistency matters. So we know the referee position, our initial key is the left tackle, the opposite tackle. All right. And by drawing this line on this particular play here, you can see that he is having to look through the quarterback in order to be able to see the left tackle. What we talked about at camp this summer is wider is better. We've been talking about this for a while. And also not being he's at a 90-degree angle rather than a 45. And so I don't have a problem with his depth on this particular play, but I would like to see him be wider. I would think that probably somewhere around the 28 or the 29-yard line in this position here would be really nice for this particular play. This is not an easy set for us to officiate in a six-man crew or six-person crew because we have trips out to the right. We have two receivers out to the left. If we had a seventh official, it would make it a little bit easier. And in those particular situations, the referee would assist with the right side tackle as well. And so our initial key would change. But in six-man, they do not, or six-person. And so when we look at this play, when we start this particular play, this is a pass play, just to give you some idea of what I mean. So right now, the referee is looking directly through the quarterback in order to see whether 73 is holding or he is not. Because he is flat here, there's really no way for him to be able to help or to be able to see if there's anything going on with this as well. So what I would suggest is that a better position would be here so he can see the passer's arm better. He also would have a view of this much better. And so referees, I would just challenge you to make sure that your initial position is wider. And just to go back to that just for a second at the very beginning of this, as you know, we have 5 positions in which we're spotting the ball. 1 would be here. 2 would be on the right goalpost. It looks like we're in the middle of the field here, which is 3. And then 4 would be the left goalpost, and 5 would be the right hash. So as for me as a referee on this particular play, if I want to be at least 2.5 to 3 positions over from where we are, I would not be at the numbers. All right, I would not be at the hash, which is a little bit closer to where he is. I would be between the hash and the numbers on this particular play, and I would be making sure that I could clearly see the left tackle and also being able to see this. And if these players do come back, I'm able to step back a little bit if I need to, or move in so that I can clearly see. So wider is better. And if you're wider, then you are able to not to have as much depth. On this particular play, I'd probably be between 12 and 13 yards. I wouldn't be 14 as it appears as though that he is here, or maybe 13.5. But I just think that the important thing for us to realize here, referees, as we talked about at camp this summer, is to get wider. Okay? So I wanted to share that with you before we jump into the plays that Clifton has given us today. All right. So the first play that we're going to look at today is related to kick-catch interference. All right? And on this play, we have a foul for kick-catch interference. I would remind you to review Rule 656. The important point is if the contact is bang-bang with the catch, if the receiver clearly feels the ball, then there should not be a foul. If he muffs it, then you do have kick-catch interference. And so we'll watch this play. We'll let it run live and let you have a chance to look at it. It's very close as to whether or not the ball whether or not there was contact before the ball got there. It appears to me that there was not. And so the ball is coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down. It looks like he catches it. And then there's contact by the receiver. We do not have the halo rule in high school football. And again, on this particular play, I'm not a deep, but I think he might be a little bit too far back. I think if he was a little bit tighter on this particular play, and again, I'm not a deep, I think he might clearly be able to see it. Maybe he did have a good angle. Again, all you deep guys, don't hammer me. I'm a referee. I'm not a deep. But at any rate, I think that the important part to remember here is he clearly caught the ball. He clearly caught the ball before there was contact, and we had a foul for KCI on this play in which it would not have been KCI. So, just make sure you review that in your pre-games and make sure you have an idea of what KCI and that we do not have the halo rule in high school football. Now, there are 3 plays in a row that we're going to look at here, and we're going to see that on this particular play, we're looking at this player right here, and we're looking at the player that I believe it's this player here that's going to be going this way, and we're going to be able to see, an illegal block. All right, a lot of times when we have blocks below the waist, we're thinking that they're going to be done by the offense, but clearly on this play here, we have a block below the waist. All right, so in the tight version, you can see it even better. Clearly, they're both going down. Looks like it's at or below the waist, which would be illegal by rule, and that is Rule 932 and 217. I would challenge you to take a look at that. So that was one play. The very next play, we have the same situation that happens here. We have a low block, and then now the offensive player is motioning, hey, look, he's cutting me. So we look at the tight version of this play, and we get a better look at it, clearly below the waist. He's like, he's cutting me. This is how kids get hurt. And then we look at the very next play, and it's even more obvious for us because now he ends up on his back, rolling him over. Again, we have no foul on this particular play. And now the coach is raising his hands, wanting to know what's going on. Were we making ourselves aware of this particular action? And here we go. So what I want to point out is how do we miss this? What can we do to prevent this? Okay. So in this particular tight wing tee set here, I guess is what we have, who's got who? So obviously the head linesman is looking down here. He's got this. We've got the deep guy who's also looking, in this particular area. The referee might have an opportunity to look and see what's going to transpire here because the play is going away from them. And so we just really have to be, and I'm sure that on the previous plays, coaches were indicating something, and maybe we were just trying to maintain our credibility by not having a foul. But it would be a long way for the side judge to have a foul on this, but anytime players' heads are going down towards another player's lower section, that should be a pretty big indicator. So really, on this particular play, any one of these 3 officials should have recognized that whenever this player is being catapulted over another player, something had to go wrong there. And so again, I would just remind you to make sure that you understand Rule 932 and 217. Go over your keys, and I think that will help you to be able to get those plays right. We're going to look at 2 plays now regarding defenseless players that were called, where we had fouls on defenseless players. I'm going to let this run live here, and you can see the receiver going across the middle, and we have a pretty good hit right in the middle of the field here. I think what we have happen is the official on this play, he reacted to what he thought was a big hit, and it was a big hit. Everybody was emotional about it. It was a big hit. But when you look at it from the end zone view, you'll clearly be able to see that there really wasn't any illegal contact here on this particular play. I'm going to go back. The great thing about video is we have the ability to be able to see, frame by frame. It looks like he's trying to wrap up. He initiates the initial contact with his shoulder. It's just a train wreck. It's just a big hit. And so the important key to this contact to a defenseless player, it's not a foul. Here is to a defenseless player, it is not a foul. The rule stipulates that it has to be illegal contact to a defenseless player. These are very tough plays. I would challenge you to look at 232-16 G and 943G. That's 232.16 and 943G. We're going to see a play very similar to this in this particular game. You can't really see it as well on this one because it's kind of in the top right of the frame. But you'll see a pretty big hit there. I'll go back just a little bit, let you take a look at it again. All right. The tight version doesn't really show us anything, but the end zone view does show us. As you can see, number 8 is moving towards. He goes to the side. Nothing really looks illegal about that. But as you see, coming into the headline judge has got a foul on the play. Or no, I guess this would be the line judge had a foul on this particular play for a defenseless player, I would presume, which would have been an incorrect call because there was nothing illegal about this particular play. So at any rate, I just challenge you to take a look at that and be ready to go. All right. So this next play, again, has to do with, making sure that we know what we have. We're going to have a pass play down the middle of the field. We're going to have a catch, and then we're going to have a fumble at about the 5, and then the ball rolls into the end zone. Looks like the deeps are coming up, and they have him down. And so they ended up giving the ball back to White, I believe, at about the 1-yard line. We'll look at the tight version of it here. This should have been a touchdown on this particular play. I'll just let you watch it live. The ball is out. The ball is loose. No one has it. White recovers it in the end zone. Touchdown. So the important thing to realize here is that for the deeps and for the wings, to make sure that we recognize and look and see where the ball comes out. Is he down in the field of play? Did he have it? Where does the ball end up? The elephant on this play is the offensive team recovered it in the end zone, and so we should have had a touchdown on this play. So it's important, wings, to make sure that they see the player down with the ball before they rule him down, and that also will hold true for the deeps as well. All right. So let's take a look at this particular play. I'll let you watch it live. This was sent to us. This is a field goal attempt. Ball is kicked. Looks like it's tipped at the line of scrimmage. The kicking team recovers, runs into the end zone, and we have the official, the deep official, is signaling touchdown in the end zone. All right. So I would challenge all of you to go back and rule 626. Again, not picking on anybody here, but these are situations where that when the unexpected happens, we must be ready for the unexpected and be able to officiate it. So the rule book says that when you have a scrimmage kick, any player who touches the ball in or behind the neutral zone is ignored. Obviously, it looks like this ball was tipped here at the line of scrimmage. It's in the air, so that's ignored. So now what can happen here? All right, in order for K to be able to, K can obviously catch this ball. All right, this is not going to be kick-catch interference because there's no receivers in the area, so he can catch it, but he cannot advance it. All right, and so obviously on this play we have them advancing the ball. Now, if R, and what's going to happen as the result of this play, we have first touching by K, so therefore the receiving team would get the ball where the ball was caught or touched, or have that option. It would be 1st and 10 for them. The only way that K could keep that ball is if it were touched clearly beyond the neutral zone by the receiving team. Then K would be able to recover the ball, but they would not be able to advance it unless R had possessed it. If R had possessed it, then we have a fumble, and they could advance it. So you're thinking, oh my goodness, you're thinking, how in the world could this happen? Well, sometimes we lose our concentration, we lose our focus, and things just happen. The unexpected happens. We got to be ready to go. All right, again, pretty good play there. All right, this is about catch, no catch. I'm going to kind of fast forward it a little bit here so you can see it. It's a tough play. I'll let you watch it live. It looks like number 2 catches the ball, 1-2, bam, he falls out of bounds, and the field judge is motioning for a catch here. And he's on the radio stating it looks like what line he went out of bounds. Good mechanics. It's really kind of hard to see here whether or not, what happens with the ball. But when we look at the end zone view, you can look and see, all right, so I'll let you watch it live. 1-2, bam, he falls, and the ball is out. All right. So I would challenge all of you to go and read Rule 2.4 And we know that in order for it to be a catch in high school, they need 2 feet in bounds. So there's 1, 2, 3, maybe, and then he falls out of bounds, but he does not survive the ground. So this is not a catch. This is not a catch. I mean, this is kind of hard. The field judge should have been able to see when the ball came out. He should have realized the line judge is 40 or 50 yards downfield. He's having to run down. Not a lot of help he can give them there. But again, I think it's important to review Rule 2.4 to be able to know what a catch is. And we also know those things that you guys talk about in the deep meetings about, what a catch is and what a not, how they have to make a football move, have to survive the ground, et cetera, et cetera. This was a missed play on this particular play by this crew. Now, we had roughing the passer on this play, and I'll let you watch it live. It's not as easy to see. You can see he kind of goes to the head. The camera turns pretty quick. He kind of goes to the head. And in high school, we don't really have a rule that the type version will help give you a little bit of it. In high school, we don't have the rule that says that it's roughing the passer, if they go to the head or, on the quarterback. We don't really have anything. So was this a illegal contact per the rule 9.4? You just need to take a look at that. I'm okay with this being roughing the passer, but would rule support it? That's the question that we have when we discuss this particular play. Would rule support it? Even though I'm good with it because it is a high school player and he does go towards the head. Was it a swing? That kind of thing. But again, I would just remind you to make sure that you know what the high school rule is and make sure that all fouls that we have are supported by rule. And then the last play that we have today is just really kind of a reminder to all of us. We'll let you watch a kickoff here. The kickoff goes, the ball is touched by R. The ball goes out of bounds at maybe the 24, the 23-yard line, something like that. We'll watch it again. Well, one thing I will say, all right, and Clifton talked about this a couple of weeks previously, all right. Looks like the umpire he is really focused here. I'd like to see him stand up a little bit taller. It looks like he's really been over. Hands on the knees is good, but just a little bit straighter up. But let's see here, all right. So the ball's not kicked yet. The ball's not kicked yet. The ball's not kicked yet. And this guy's clearly past him, all right. So now, obviously, they're trying to kick this ball where they can recover it. This could be a pretty big advantage. So this might be a play you might want to. I'm not a big fan of having fouls on kickoffs. They need to be clearly obvious. But on this play, it looks pretty obvious to me. All right. But again, not to beat that up. This is not what we want to talk about. So this ball is going here. It's going. It's touched by R. It's touched by R again. It's touched by R again. And then we can't see. The team's really happy, and the ball goes out of bounds. Looks like about the 25-yard line. So the question is, where do we put the ball on the 25-yard line? Do we put it in the center? Do we give them a choice as to where we can put the ball? No, the only choice that we can give them on this particular play would be the left hash, because that's the direction we're going. It went out on that particular hash. We're going to put it on the left hash. Remember, the only time that we give the coach the option as to where we put the ball is when we have a touchback. When we have a touchback, they have a choice of the 5 positions that they can put the ball. The left hash, the left upright, the center of the field, the right hash, or the right upright, or the right hash. All right, guys, enjoy this week. Make the best of your moments. Remember to pray for Clifton and his family as they're sick. Hopefully this video wasn't too long and that you'll enjoy it. And if I get the opportunity to do it again, maybe I'll have less plays and I'll talk less. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great game this week.